Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Vortex Racing Network's production of the Bonfire Premier Cup. The Bonfire Racing League is live at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the Plus EV Crowns 160. It's race number 4 of our 13-race regular season. We are in a win and you're in situation. 3 winners in the last 3 weeks, making this thing one of the most parody-stricken leagues we've seen on our network. 3 wide in the booth tonight. Mean Gene Money, Smokin' Joe, Johnny Replay, bringing you all the action. Boys, what a beautiful day for racing. What's the atmosphere down there looking like there, Smokin' Joe?
It's a very nice and sunny racetrack here today at Las Vegas. In for some exciting racing once again here after a night race last season, out here in the sunshine this season.
Last year, of course, Vegas was the elimination race to go to the championship 4, and we saw Jason Landry's season of dominance continue at Vegas last year as he picked up his 10th win of his 12-win regular season, or 12-win complete season, including playoffs. Second place was Jax Duvall last year. Kevin Kyle joining them on the podium. No Landry, no Kevin Kyle here today. 26 drivers down on the grid. Landry, Jax Duvall with the best finish from last year of all the drivers down there. So getting ready to see some exciting racing here. Week number 4. Want to give a big shout out to our sponsor for this race, Paul Ferdiani, sponsoring the Plus EV Crowns race here today. This race is proudly sponsored by Plus EV Crowns. Now in racing, not everybody's leading the pack, and not everybody's bringing up the rear. Some drivers live in the toughest spot on the track, right in the middle. Now, if you're the kind of driver who says, hey, I'll take a top 15 tonight, then we've got the hat for you. Introducing the Mediocre Beanie. Available in red, yellow, and black, it is the perfect lid for drivers and fans proudly living that P15 lifestyle. Because not everybody can be a champion, but everybody can be mediocre. And stay tuned, the new era snapback version is coming soon. If you want one, reach out to Paul Ferdiani on Discord and grab yours today. Plus EV Crowns, representing the hardest position in racing, the middle of the pack. That is a sweet lid right there. Now, I'll tell you what, Johnny Replay up here, he doesn't have the mediocre lid. He's got the top man lid. Johnny, how you feeling today here in the heat of Vegas?
Oh my God, I love this place. It's the first place I actually went to my first NASCAR race. So being here is pretty cool because I feel like I've been here.
Who won the race when you went there in life, real life?
I don't remember, but I remember being very upset that Cody Ware paid out so much, and I realized why he paid out so much.
Joey Logano, what a win. I'll tell you what, wish I would have been there to see that. You are a lucky man indeed. Anytime someone says they don't know who won, there's 2 answers. It's either Mean Gene or Joey Logano. Qualifying is underway. Interesting series of practice laps here today. Drivers up top, you might not be used to seeing Ricky Mandela with the fastest practice lap, Garrett Austin, Jerry Rose, Evan Stewart, Joe Volpis. Now, Johnny, I recognize seeing Evan Stewart and Joe Volpis up there in the top 5, but what's going on with that 19, that 87, and that 51?
Probably practice. You know, this is a new update too, so everybody has to get used to the cars. I would assume they just put in more practice knowing that the update came out.
Practice? We're talking about practice, not even talking about the race. Johnny Replay talking about practice. And here we go, Joe Volpis out on the track, laying down his qualifier. You know, the 988 pole award is on the line here today for these drivers battling for grid dominance. That's the 937 of Ben Knight's, one of those fish speed drivers. You can see Zach Angle as well. Zach, very strong truck driver, looking for his very first BRL Cup win. There's Evan Stewart. He won last week captain of the Fish Speed Brakes racing team. Evan, of course, joined by Jaden Porter and Ben Knights there in Discord. Now we can see that beautiful orange of Jake Johnson. Jake, of course, proudly representing Florida Man Racing, along with Captain Jax Duval. The laps coming in, looks like Joe Volpus up on top. First lap has been the money lap of the two qualifying laps. Volpus up top, got Duval with him, waiting to see if Evan Stewart perhaps could get rid of them. There is the 51 of Rose. Oh, looky, going to go into the wall. Not what you want to do on a qualifying lap. Stewart one more time around, as is Johnson. I don't see a lot of movement up there on that Christmas tree, though, Johnny. It's like maybe Joe Volpus might take home that award.
I mean, I'm not surprised. We saw how Volpus was last season, where he's right on the heels of Jason Landry, and with him gone, he just show his actual talent.
Yeah, absolutely. A guy you got to watch. You take Landry and Jared Kelly out of the equation, but there is plenty of other folks you got to watch. Nick Mills did pick up that win in the opener. We've seen the emergence of Evan Stewart. There's Jax Duval, captain of Florida Man Racing. This guy was a Final Four championship contender last year. Plenty of ammunition still out there. Little drift there, pretending he's on the Florida Turnpike. And that's how you come in the pits. Look at that. All right, here's Rose going to finish up his last lap here as well. Qualifying about to come to an end. 51. That's a sharp-looking car right there. Also, he is a Fish Speed affiliate as well, is the number 51. You can see him proudly, and he hates his car, so you're going to need a front end there, Johnny.
I mean, what great timing, right?
Yeah, that's what exciting camera angle will do for you. Luckily, he didn't even get a qualifying lap, so that 51 couldn't be starting in the back of the field. There's David Medina rocking that new neon green number 9 Toyota. David off to kind of a slow start for what we've seen from the multiple-time champion. Last week, though, David did come home in third, best finish that he's had of this young season. So the rust starting to come off of David Medina, the Focum Toyota. Here's Duval, one last lap, putting it on out there for us in qualifying. Maybe he can bust up through that ceiling set by Joe Volpus, but I'm not sure that is going to happen, as Volpus really put up a burner. And nope, he's just practicing his pit entrances. That's pretty smart. You make up a ton of time on pit entrances. Qualifying and pit entrance, great way to really separate yourself from the pack out there. What about you, Johnny? How much work do you like to put into pit entrances?
I need to put in more work. I've seen some other guys in other leagues, for example, Brandon Wybera, Brandon Lolis, who have just impeccable pit entrances. And I feel like at some point we got to check for cheating, but I'm nowhere close to that. I need to practice it more, but it's so weird now that we compare this to last season, where we really did actually get a lot of cautions in the first half of the race. Now I feel like we're seeing a lot more caution-free races.
Yeah, it's I think a lot of things going into that. Of course, we are in season number 15, so the drivers that have been multiple seasons getting accustomed to each other, and makes it easier, I think, for the newer drivers, rookie drivers, to come in. We do have a few rookie drivers not making the journey to Vegas here today. No Eric Gambrill, no Richard Modric. We don't see David Owens out there also, so that's a pretty big glaring absence as far as top speed goes. So these guys, discretion, the better part of valor. I guess they just don't want to get within 3 miles of a casino. Maybe that's for the best for some of these guys.
Or maybe they're still stuck at the casino. Vegas is tricky.
Let's make some phone calls and find out. Paul Ferdiani, of course, our semi-professional gambler, also not making the trip here today. That's the guy I think might actually be playing. You can't just leave in the middle of a tournament. That's Tommy Fox on the screen right there, that number 57 Gulf Coast Racing driver in that Coca-Cola Zero Sugar McDonald's Ford, having a good run out there today. Double O Joe. This is one of the guys that has picked up the mantle for Plus EV Paints racing team. Remember last year they were Ignition Point. You take Landry and Jared Kelly out of the equation and add a Jose Medina, and that's still a very, very fast group of three there. So qualifying going on forever here. 10-minute qualifying. Nick Mills out there. Nick, of course, did win the Dennis Puckett Memorial at Kentucky to start off the season, the number 20 Ford driver. Mills kind of a loner out there, Johnny. You know, there is no points battle for teams this season, but you still like to be chatting with your boys. Nick Mills, kind of a solo guy. Seen him run with Buddy Sully, but Buddy, of course, running part-time. Only here on the even, on the odd-numbered weekends. This, of course, an even number, as it is race number 4. Looks like qualifying is wrapped up, and congratulations to Joe Volpes, Gulf Coast Animal House Customs driver, gonna take the 988 pole award. Congratulations to Joe Volpes picking up that pole. Good move. Joining him on the front row is gonna be Jax Duval, Florida Man Racing, gonna be starting from the second position. Second row gonna be Zach Engel, gonna be joined there by Jake Johnson. Evan Stewart starting in 5th. Next to the Plus EV Racing driver of Jose Medina. Garrett Austin going to make his first start of the year. Garrett going to be starting from the 7th position. David Medina Sr. firing off from the 8th spot, looking to build on the momentum of his 3rd place finish last week. Tommy Fox starting the number 57 in that 9th position, joined by teammate David Brenner in the number 22 Ford, starting in 10th position. 11th, going to be Michael Stara, the 7 Motorsports driver, joined by Folcom driver Chris Morrill in the 12th position. 7th row, David Buell in 13th, joined by Mark Dumont in 14th. Take it away, Johnny.
Then in 15th, we got Jaden Porter alongside Ricky Mandel in 16th. Richard Swingle in 17th, Ryan Newman in 18th, Todd Dunn in 19th, Edward Peltz in 20th, Tim Darby 21st, Ben Knights in 22nd, and then the rest of the guys that did not put down a time, Nick Mills in 23rd spot, Jay-Z Bennett in 24th, Chris Smith 25th, and Jerry Rose finishing it out at 26th.
Well, usually finishes in the back of the pack. Going to start there as well today, so maybe not a lot of movement. We might be in for a lot of green flag racing. That would be terrible for Mr. Darby, as he is our sponsor of the cautions here today. So I guess let's go to the 4th member of our broadcast booth. Away we go.
Good morning, everybody. Larry McReynolds here with NASCAR and Fox. You know, America's crew chief. Welcome to the Bonfire Premier Cup Series. You know the deal. All right, all right, all right. Drivers, start your engines. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go iRacing.
All right, before we go racing, let's learn a little bit more about that 988 pole award. We recognize the fastest qualifier, and they win that pole award, presented in support of suicide awareness and prevention. The award is a reminder that awareness, connection, and conversation matter both on and off the track. If you or someone you know needs support, help is available 24/7 through the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by calling or texting 988. So thank you, Kyle, for bringing awareness to an important health issue here in the United States and around the world. Joe Volpes taking the 988 pole award here today at Las Vegas in the Plus EV Crowns 160. Volpes joined on that front row by Florida Man Racing Captain Duval. You can see right behind him is that 32 of Jake Johnson. So teammates on the outside, inside lane. Vulpes going to get help from Zach Angle. About to come across the start-finish line, waiting to see us go green. Flag is waving. Away we go. Joe Vulpes in the front with Jax Duvall, bringing it down the front stretch into turn number 1. Here we go. Little bit high here by Florida Man Racing. Going to bring it down tight. Very tight, as you can see the front row having a great race. Vulpes and Duvall side by side. They're banging. The little Vulpes is loose. He's in the wall. He's touching the 32. Oh, into Medina. Brenner is caught up as well. Tommy Fox. Oh, no. Jaden Porter. Wow, Johnny, we did not get a lot of activity there, as suddenly we find it happen. And you know what that means at home, boys and girls. Oh, it didn't take long. The Demolition Derby starts here on lap number 1 as we see Jax Duvall banging with Joe Vulpes. Got him loose and picking up all kinds of other cars. I saw Fox. I saw Brenner. I saw Porter. Oh, my word. There are lots of big names in that one. Johnny, boy, man, we didn't think. Did you stretch before the race?
My fingers weren't even ready. We were going to try to figure out who is stuck in this. Yeah, ready to go. All right. So they come out of turn 2, and then there's the banging, just out of control, real fast. 98 up in the wall, 32 right behind him. Clips, or I don't know, I think Garrett Austin got out of that pretty safe. He's at the 22, Brenner.
Yeah,
David,
David.
Tommy Fox, Michael Sarah.
Medina got hit pretty hard. I think Sarah's okay.
Oh,
Looks
my
like
God.
he tapped it.
Tommy Fox is in Medina. Yeah, this.
Look at the guys behind him come to a complete stop. They're like, no.
Oh, my God.
Carnage. Look at Eddie Peltz and Rose in the 51. Smorel as well. Just full stop watching.
Well, you know.
That's how you do it, right?
I feel like this is the first time I've seen Tommy Fox, decide not to run in the back and just, bad luck.
Gets eaten alive. The 57 Gulf Coast driver is part of that big accident. Wow, caution here on lap number 1. Nobody wanted to see that. We do see 9 drivers come down into the pits, still there, getting repair work looked at. We have 7 other drivers that did come down just to get their cars looked at. So top 10 drivers staying out. Other than that, we've got a few visits into the pits. Look like Sarah, Michael Sarra, Rich Swingle came down. Duvall maybe put tires on it with a 14-second pit stop. Rose, Mills, they came down for fuel only. Then here we go with the accident guys. Double O Joe, 31 seconds. Mark Dumont, 59. Mandela and Jake Johnson, both over a minute. And then everybody else in there. And Johnny, look at these names in the pits. Joe Vulpes, David Medina, David Brenner. I mean, these are playoff championship caliber drivers. Race ended here on lap number 1. Big damage repair going on for those fellas.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. There's no better way to put it. It just sucks. Off the second turn, ready. You've been practicing for this, and just they ended like that.
Not the way they wanted to go. It is a shuffle up at the front where all of a sudden Zach Angle gonna take over the lead, the 7 Motorsports driver. Evan Stewart on the outside of the front row, Fish Speed Brakes captain. Garrett Austin, Jose Medina, Ryan Newman moving up there, David Buell, Tim Darby, Todd Dunnett, Peltz, Ben Knights, top 10. Zach Engel on the inside into the restart zone. Away we go. Great start. Gonna bring Garrett Austin with him. Austin side by side with Evan Stewart. Stewart, Austin battling for second place. Medina with a little bitty push on the outside to Evan Stewart. Stewart now rolling. He's still at the quarter of Garrett Austin. Up front, Zach Engel with that lead. Down the back stretch, we go single file now. Engel, Austin, Stewart, Medina, David Buell moving into that fifth spot. Behind him, Ryan Newman as well. Single file action now breaking out amongst the top 9. You got to go to about 10th to see some side by side. But here we go. Buell and Medina dueling for 5th.
Good racing here. How you doing, Mean Gene? Nice to hear you.
Yeah.
Got some good battle in here in the top 5 right now. I don't want you to get too confused there, Mean Gene, but Garrett Austin is not running the right number here today, so I don't want you to get confused. You might be seeing double vision right now with the 34 and the 34 in second and third. So no, that's not your prescription eyewear running out. That's just a little bit of a clerical error right there here today.
Running wrong number, CC John Beverly send. Yes, you're going to get in trouble for that. Meanwhile, look at this. Garrett Austin round the outside of Zach Engel. Not scared about wearing out his tires, picking that second lane to make the pass. And now Zach Engel under attack. Evan Stewart going to take the same direction, going round the outside. And it is a 34 party up front. Garrett Austin, Evan Stewart passing Zach Engel here on lap number 8. David Buell still in 4th. Great run here by the league owner in that 52 Toyota. Jose Medina, perennial top 5, top 10 driver, is currently in 5th. He is the highest representative of the Plus EV racing team. Behind them, Ryan Newman racing side by side with Jax Duvall. Duvall looking for a new guy to get rid of now that he has ended Vulpus's day. You know what? Any Newman will do.
Old Newman there and a new paint scheme there as well. I don't know if you noticed that, Mean Gene, but very reminiscent now of his truck
Oh, the
on
97 is loose.
Tuesday's night as,
Swingle loose, and what is going on? We backed up. Oh, look at that. Rose about drove a hole straight through the back of Eddie Peltz. But that group going to survive. This group right here is really packed up. Wonder how it's going to go. You got Double O Joe, Chris Smorrell, and Jerry Rose, who all ran really fast in practice, trying to make their way through this group right in front of them of Todd Dunn, Eddie Peltz. You can see Darby and Ben Knights leading that group. So this is all a result of that restart and that backup. So going to be curious to see the speed of some of these cars. Looks like Todd Dunn taking that outside lane, going to lose position to the 51. Let's look at the lap times that we see from those guys. Top 7 in a league of their own. And then behind them, Sarah Medina back. You can see about 30.5, 30.6 seems to be the average. But up front, those 30.2s and 30 flat by Evan Stewart
you see that
seems
there,
to
Mean
be
Gene?
the nature.
what a lap time. Evan Stewart's way faster right now than everybody else currently. 30 flats consistent. If we pull up one of your other favorite graphics right here, you can see that he's just been starting to pull on Garrett Austin that little bit every lap. Very consistent last 5 laps pretty much right there. But Garrett Austin, everybody else has fallen off from that pace that Evan Stewart's still able to put down here 12 laps into the run.
That is impressive. Fastest lap of the day, 29.86, was run by Evan Stewart, and now back-to-back 30s. So good work there by him. Meanwhile, back, you can still chaotic back there around Tim Darby, Smorrell, Rose, Swingle, all those guys still trying to figure out. This is where it seems to be the most congested. Smorrell now going to take a peek around the outside of Bennett right there. So those guys having a good time. Meanwhile, Rose going to duck under Darby, makes quick work of him. And, you know, Joe, that really shows what picking the correct line does. You got to get down on that apron, fire around, and you can see just how quickly the 51 got around the 13. Let's see if he gets back down on that bottom line. Does Darby, or else he could be victimized by Double O Joe and Smorrell as well very quickly.
Yeah, right now, these guys just trying to save their tires, I think, at this point, right? You know, we saw a lot of tire wear, especially to the right front in practice. So these cars get very, very tight on a long run. And we're seeing it already where these lap times starting to fall off from some of these boys. You want to make sure you're not using up that right front too much. The other thing I saw in practice was moving up, migrating up the track over the course of the run might be a viable strategy if you do a good job saving your tires in the first half of a run. So those are the two things I'm really going to look out for here. Right front tire management and whether or not people migrate to the top over the course of a long run.
A lot of emphasis being put on getting down to that apron, but you're right. If you can roll, angle with a little wiggle right there in front of Duval. Everybody seems to be okay. If you can roll with that same efficiency in that second lap, things can happen. Look at Duval trying to roll up against the wall. What about that for a strategy?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a good idea right now to be on the high line this early. I think that might be wearing out the right front if you're trying to do it too soon, especially in 3 and 4 with how naturally tight that corner has been here today, Mean Gene. Very, very opposite if you remember from just a few seasons ago where the car would get very loose down on that end of the track. Now it's doing the absolute opposite of what it used to do and getting tight.
Evan Stewart slowly growing that lead by about 2 or 3/10 a second every lap. Now has that gap to about 1.3 seconds over Garrett Austin. Austin has to be thrilled with the ride that he's having here today. Golden Octopus driver, would have been Rookie of the Year contention, but did miss the first 3 races. So here he is showing up for his first race up in P2. Got to be pleased with that. Behind him, David Buell and Nick Mills running great. And yeah, this is where the action is it not? These boys are having a duel.
Yeah, right now this is a battle just outside the top 10 that we see going on right here. Right now, Chris Morrill, Richard Swingle, Jerry Rose battling for 12th, 13th, and 14th. And battling pretty hard right now for these positions. You know, the one thing that wreck early on in the race really created is the ability for this race to be flipped upside down for some guys to get maybe some good runs, some good points here today. Guys running up front that, you know, you don't normally see run as far up as they are currently. You know, I'm looking in that top 10 right now. Ben Knights is somebody that's trying to get used to everything still. He's got damage to that car, I see, but he's currently running in 10th, just doing his best thing right now, trying to get it acclimated. You know, see some other guys up here. Ryan Newman in the top 5, very impressive to this point. We'll see if he's able to hold on up for a long run. Great run for him. Garrett Austin is in 2nd place right now. He's having a really good run. And David Buell running in 3rd. You know, we see him have a lot of speed usually on Tuesdays. But the Cup car seems to baffle him sometimes. Seems to get a little thrown off hand when he drives it. But today looks like he's got a hot rod.
It sure does. David Medina Sr. coming out of the pits now. 10.5 seconds of damage repair done by the number 9 Ford. But Medina now has his Focum drive back onto the track. Have to monitor what's going to happen with that. He is laps behind, about 10 behind Mark Dumont and about 16 behind Jaden Porter. So this is where your fortitude is tested early in the race to just put in them laps and try to pick up 1, 2, maybe 3 extra points here.
Yeah, I think, but you know what? I think there's the ability to make up 5, 10, 15 points here today for some of these boys. You know, I'm just trying to think about it, right? David Buell got off to such a slow start as an example. He got off to such a slow start. Got a top 10, I believe, last week for the first time this season, trying to climb out of the basement. You know, running in 3rd right now, if he's able to really get this thing hooked up, get up maybe to 2nd, maybe even battle for the race win. A race win would lock him into the playoffs, Mean Gene. Like, just like that, those first 2 races don't matter anymore. It don't matter where he is in the points.
No, and this is the interesting part about Phoenix. The right front tire is going to be at such a premium. And turn 1 and 2 responding so much differently to 3 and 4. Nick Mills taking a peek under David Buell. I don't think Buell's going to battle him here. I think Buell's in full tire save mode. There it is. You can see he lets the 20 go right on by. Mills takes over third. Buell into fourth as Newman, Zach Engel behind them. But here on lap 24, I think that's what we're seeing is that first test of these drivers of how hard they can push the car and what exactly is going to happen to the tire. You know, you get that wonderful update from your crew chief. Hey, watch that tire. And these drivers are going to be able to gauge just how fast they can go on that next run based on when that pops up. Monitor the tire heat. But 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 respond so much differently, Joe. You can really dive it into 1 and 2, but the 3 and 4, they just seem to go on forever, do they not?
Yeah, you saw in qualifying there where the guys were really sending it at 1 and 2, right? You know, pretty much full throttle. You could almost go through 1 and 2 on fresh tires going for 1 lap pace. But 3 and 4, you have to lift no matter it's fresh tires, old tires, anywhere in between. So 3 and 4, a lot more technical than 1 and 2. And I think we're seeing that here right now because Evan Stewart is just slowly and consistently every lap growing this lead more and more, almost up to 2.5 seconds now.
Up front, or in the middle, we're seeing now Ben Knight's fading backwards. You talked about that 937 having that damage, and he has been caught by that group of Swingle, Smorl. Look at Rose. What on earth? He just dives under Rich Swingle, taking advantage right there. He gets Smorl, and Swingle had got by Rose, and then Rose with some insane driving ends up getting back ahead of the two of those. You think these guys are trying to win it here on lap 27, Joe?
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time we saw somebody try and win a race early, especially here
Look
today.
at poor David Medina's out there.
David
like,
Medina out
please
there,
don't.
18 laps down, just chilling.
But he's got new tires. I mean, I don't know how much damage is on that 9, but he's got the newest tires.
I think he got the car. I think that's why he's 18 down, is because he got the whole thing fixed.
Oh, that would make sense. All right, so a little bit of lap traffic. You can see Knights on the outside, kind of slowing the progress of that group. And now Jake Johnson coming into the picture as well. That's Jose Medina right behind him on the outside in that 54. Johnson diving down. You can see little 3 wide for just a moment.
Oh, look at
Wow.
him. Oh!
Yeah, Rose ain't lifting. That dude is out of control. There's Eddie Peltz making a good ride right behind that group in that teal and orange Dolphin cover. And yeah, unfortunately, I think you're right about Ben Knight's having that damage. You can see him fade back to that little pack that's battling for 9th on back.
Yeah, right now, though, David Medina, 18 laps down right in the middle of all this. He must be having a good time. Jack Duval is starting to fall back to these guys here as well. So add another driver to the mix of this battle for, looks like, for 8th. Look at that. Man, I thought my data was messed up. I see Jerry Rose. He's running in 9th. I was like, wait a second, hold up. We're talking about Jerry Rose battling for 8th.
I know, and look, his lap time, 30.74, is pretty much about, what, 100th?
That's
100ths of a second off the leader.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's within half a tenth of the leader, so it's not like he's got some serious pace. It's not like he's here by accident there, Gene. He's here with some sort of authority.
Oh, there we go. Look, Medina going to get to the door, though. That'll impede coming down. Oh, then there's Duval. I think Duval. Does Duval have damage, or did he smoke those tires?
I don't know. Hard to tell. Looks like maybe a little scrape on the left front. Hard to tell. Is that just the logo, or is that a little discolor? It's hard to tell.
Yeah. Well, he loses another spot right there, and now falls back into 9th, does Duval, and coming under attack from Smorl. Now, behind them, we've seen Medina off the pace. Eddie Peltz, Rich Swingle behind them also running just a little bit slower as the tire wear is starting to affect those drivers just a little bit more than somebody like Medina, Rose, or Smorl in this group who seem to be moving forward. But they're far behind, about 2.5 seconds behind Michael Sara and Ryan Newman ahead of them. Now, while we're watching all the fun of these insane drivers, you might be wondering what's going on up front. Well, Evan Stewart has pushed that lead to 2.5 seconds. You can see about 0.2 of a second faster each lap is Evan Stewart than Garrett. Well, Garrett got about a tenth back off of that, but still 2.5 seconds. Nick Mills running in third. Nick is about a half a second behind Garrett. As you can see, they are relatively close to each other, but right now it's the Evan Stewart show. I guess Fish Speed Brakes making it happen here in this series as well. Evan Stewart did get that win just last week at Phoenix, and now here he is again trying to make it happen, getting points in the way too early layoff point situation. It is a win and you're in. Stewart already in as long as he hits the 10 race minimum for qualification, but no extra bonuses for being a regular season champ, but it feels good, right? You can make your own trophy.
Yeah, you know what I'm noticing here, Mean Gene, is some different colors for this Fish Speed car, huh? Running the purple and the white, that's a little bit different than we usually see. You know, usually used to seeing the blue and the black together with a little bit of hint of red in there. Nope, not usually purple. This is, I like it, a little different.
All right, so little plank by Ryan Newman. Oh, what is happening?
Uh-oh. Newman, he's got trouble. Oh,
he's gone.
Oh, he's gone. He's vanished.
Ryan Newman was running 6 there, and all of a sudden, I'm hearing the engine on his computer blew.
Oh no.
Yep, the computer went down. Oh no, that guy was having a heck of a run, best run of the year, and all of a sudden goes down to computer failure. Unfortunate there. That was a heck of a run that dude was having. Teammate of Garrett Austin, so you know they're sharing data. Also teammate of Eddie Peltz, who's running top 10 as well. So that team was having a good run today. All of a sudden ends with computer failure. A little bit of a pack right here making for interesting. We can see Duval is slowly faded back. He's got Medina, who's also struggling, and Ben Knights. All those guys having trouble on tires. And there's Jay-Z Bennett as well. Surprised to see Bennett running back there, but Bennett with those 30.94 tire times as well just has not got Phoenix under control here today.
Yeah, right now it looks like some of these guys now starting to struggle with that tire wear, like you said, trying to get things under control but not really able to. Speaking of getting things under control, it looks like David Buell's starting to come back at Nick Mills later in the run here. Might have a little something on a long run compared to Nick Mills, and Garrett Austin really starting to fall off the pace.
It was inevitable. You figured, how long will they make it? If you were to break this thing up into thirds, Joe, you're looking at about 38 laps of run, 38, 38, and 39. So we're absolutely in that window. You think about some of those guys, though, coming down on lap number 3 to get a little more fuel. So they could probably push it to about 43, 44, but I'm expecting to see people coming down for tires and fuel very soon. Now, most of the time we do see equal tire wear left and right, except, of course, that precious right front tire. But do you think for maybe a shorter run, would somebody risk only taking those right side tires? And if so, what would be the number? Let's say you can make 41 laps on a green flag run. Oh my.
Oh, they're going 3 wide. Look out.
Why not? And that is all for position. That's Garrett Austin in that orange car, David Buell in the black car that's running third in that picture. And Nick Mills makes his way past Garrett Austin. Buell got caught up, collateral damage. Now Buell trying to make the move on Austin. Very difficult driving. And Zach Angle is the first driver to blink. Zach Angle coming down into the pits. The 47 going to call for fuel and tires before the rest of the leaders. Who knows how the short pit strategy worked it out? We're going to find out here in a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Vortex Racing Network, bringing you the Plus EV Crowns 160 live here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Race number 4 of the Bonfire Premier Cup Season 15 regular season. All the action with Mean Gene Money Smoking Joe Johnny Replay, bringing you all this goodness. Meanwhile, is that a Newman rolling out of the pits?
Oh, I think he got his stuff working again. Look at him go.
All right, Ryan Newman trying to get her working again. I can see the hamster wheel turning, but Newman going to be about 7 laps down. Cannot be happy. All right, here comes Evan Stewart now into the pits. Garrett Austin, Jerry Rose, all making that move. Going to turn the lead over to Nick Mills, the number 20, taking over the lead with David Buell hard in pursuit.
Yeah, right now it looks like Buell, you saw him try and make that move 3 wide, got super loose, and then gave up those 2 spots immediately back. Nick Mills now taking control of the guys going a little bit longer right now. But Buell has really good long run pace I've seen here today too. So we'll see if these guys have anything. I'm kind of concerned though, because the longer they go, the more of an advantage they're given to Evan Stewart, who's leaving pit road now. As he already had an advantage on them on the long run. So if he's able to use a little bit fresher tires on a short run, then I feel like he could get this get way out of reach here.
Curious how it's going to end up once we come around with the pit cycle, but after that restart, we did see a huge checkup of drivers that slowed the progress of many of them. We see Michael Sara now move up into second place, and what I saw was from Sara back, those drivers were caught up about 8 seconds behind because of the huge checkup after the restart that we had on lap number 4. So Sara forward are really the drivers that I'm looking at as far as track position and time lost and gained in the pits. Here comes Sara now. Mills as well as down there. We're going to see, here comes Smorrell, Double O Joe, Medina, Swingle going to take over the lead. So, hey, the 97 looking to get a point.
Yeah, Richard Swingle, the king of running the thing out of fuel, is going to go out there and go run another lap. Try and maybe get a lap let out of this thing. Don't run it out of fuel, though, Richard, please.
You called him the king of the thing. That's him, Richard Swingle, making it happen. Oh, Swingle now diving down, trying to avoid Garrett Austin, as Austin trying to get his lap back the old-fashioned way. Evan Stewart back out there now, driving past all those lap drivers.
Oh!
Swingle misses the pit.
Okay, well, now I'm concerned. Does he have enough fuel to get back around the track is going to be my next question. And if he doesn't, does he make it back to the pits? This could change everything right here if there's a caution for a car out of fuel.
Very difficult run. Swingle on the backstretch, hoping he's got enough fuel in that Toyota to make it back. Looks good going into 3. Going to bring her down. He's going to be A-okay.
Oh, he's barely going to make it this time. Make it a close call again there, Mean Gene.
Yeah, so interesting things happening. Nobody sped that I saw, though, so good job. A good sequence there by the drivers as we're making our way around here. Now, Swingle in the pits, going to turn over the lead back to Evan Stewart. Evan Stewart now with a 4.7 second lead over Zach Engel. So not only is Stewart fast on the track, he's also fast on those pit cycles. Stewart, Engel, Nick Mills is in third, 2.7 seconds back of Zach Engel. Engel, of course, a truck phenom, doing it here in the Cup cars as well. Engel, as we mentioned in the beginning of the broadcast, looking for that first Cup win. Maybe today, depending on what happens with Evan Stewart. Only one caution so far back on lap number 1. Other than that, it's been green flag racing here in the beautiful asphalt, 1.5 miles of Las Vegas. Nick Mills with a 1.2 second lead over David Buell. Buell with a 0.6 of a second lead over Garrett Austin, who has an 0.8 of a second lead over Michael Sara, who has a 2.3-second lead over Rose, who has a 3-second lead over Smorl, Medina, Eddie Peltz rounding out your top 10. So spread out a little bit with all this green flag racing and that pit sequence as well. But this is what you love to see. This is drivers operating at their most efficiently. Big regrets, of course, that we're not seeing a Joe Vulpes, a David Brenner out there, David Medina at full speed making battle. But gotta love seeing this green flag racing here on Las Vegas.
Well, you know what it also does? It gives us the opportunity to give some flowers to some other drivers in the field here today, right? Zach Engel, he's somebody that runs so well in the trucks, not usually running up front in the contention for a race win or in the top 3 in the cup cars. You know, we see him run top 10, but running in second currently after qualifying third here today. So Zach Engel pretty much putting on a truck performance for himself today. If he could just figure out just a little bit, might be able to catch up to that 34, but might be a tall task for him. But that's somebody that's running really good here today. David Buell, another one. Nick Mills, of course, he's up 20 spots up there in third. But David Buell, somebody give him the flowers. You know, he hasn't been running up front here recently. Michael Sara currently in the top 5, having a really good race, right? We look at Garrett Austin. Even though he was up front early, slipped a little bit, he's still in the top 10. Jerry Rose up 19 spots to 7th. Chris Smorl, somebody that we usually see run up front. Medina's usually up front as well. Eddie Peltz has a top 10 run going, 20th to 10th. Currently on the lead lap, very safe on the lead lap as well, running some really good consistent lap times compared to the guys around him. Like, look at all these guys up front. I feel like it's really opened up the ability for some guys that usually don't have the spotlight on them in the front of the field to really capitalize and make a name for themselves here today, Mean Gene.
You got to love seeing that for those guys and for the league in general to have that wealth spread around to those guys. New money up front, though. Evan Stewart really putting on the show. Now has that lead to 6 full seconds. As you can see, he's knocking off about a 1/10 of a second versus everybody each and every lap. Last lap, 30.42. Next closest speed, let's see here. Buell back in 4th with a 0.44. Rose back in 7th with a 0.48. You got to go down to the lap drivers almost. Let's see, Rich Swingle with a 0.4. Double O Joe with a 0.14. So good speeds coming, but it looks like there's a lot of parity in the track speeds at this point. Going to be very difficult to make up gaps if everybody's running the same speeds.
Yeah, right now everybody pretty much running the same speeds, exactly like you said. The car that's right now might be dropping some pace a little bit that's up there is actually Garrett Austin. Looking at these lap times, he's about 3/10 slower than everybody else on track. He's not the slowest car on the lead lap right now. That's actually he's pretty much him, Jose Medina, and Duval all running very similar lap times in the 8s right now. So a little bit concerning for those guys. Looking at their pit times, Garrett Austin was one of the first to pit, so it does make sense that he's fallen off. Oh, Mean Gene, I just saw the 34 blink. What's going on?
Update 34. Is he back?
He's back. He blinked. He was out, and then he's back. I'm scared, Mean Gene. What's going on?
I don't know. Maybe this server's doing some funny stuff. Okay. Go back to
he's
Stewart.
Out again.
The 34 of Austin goes high. So he's gone. And meanwhile, you're right about Garrett Austin fading back. Wow, that was insane right there. Hey Johnny, you wanna go back and take a peek at that pass that the 51 put on 34? It looks like he took him 3 wide and about caused a wreck there.
Give me 1 second, I'll get that for you.
So while we lose the leader of the race, we've lost Evan Stewart at the same time as Jerry Rose tries to take out the field, apparently. Well, so we got a lot going on here all at once.
All right, so that's 2 guys. We saw Newman Ghost when he was in the top 7. We saw Stewart Ghost when he was leading. This iRacing platform taking no prisoners today, just throwing people to the side.
Okay, I think I got it. It's against the 72 of Dunn and Garrett
I
Austin.
think, yeah.
This one right here. Okay. It almost looked like they opened up for him, and then he's like, nope.
All right, that wasn't as close as I thought. I thought you were about to take them people. Oh, there it is.
All right.
No, he just cuts in front of him. He's like, hey, slide job.
Yeah, you can see a little quiver from Dunn right there.
Yeah, that dirty air is ugly. All right, so a little shuffle there, Smoking Joe, with the drivers, with us losing our leader suddenly. Zach Engel, who we talked about having one of his best cup runs, takes over the lead, 0.7 of a second lead over Nick Mills. Mills, of course, won the opener, would love to pick up his second win of the year, but gonna need to put some moves on Engel, who is 0.7 of a second ahead of him. David Buell with a great run back in third. Slight lead over Sarah Rose, rounding out the top 5. Garrett Austin playing triage, as there's definitely something wrong. Hearing on the radio that he struck the wall in that right front tire, not participating for Garrett Austin. So tough break there.
Time's falling off there then.
Yeah, and not a lot of joy in Mudville. Says he hit that thing coming out of 4.
That's a tough break. He had a really good car there early, and then, yeah, hitting that wall. He's by far the slowest car on the lead lap now, the only one in the 31-second bracket. I think it's really starting to affect him here. Look at how much that thing just doesn't turn.
Yeah, and behind him, that's that 5 of Chris Samorel. Samorel showed great speed at the middle and end part of a run, so no doubt in my mind that 5 is saving some tires for the latter part of this green flag run. No doubt he's going to eat up the 34 relatively quickly. Behind him, with a slight gap of about 7 seconds, all the way back to Jose Medina.
Yep.
Medina battling Eddie Peltz.
Yeah.
So those two guys, and then way back more to Duvall and Ben Knight. So a few cars that we saw either with damage or serious tire wear issues, still doing a good job of holding on in this wide open Plus EV Crown 160, but not with that forward. Oh, a little wiggle there by Knights. Oh, he's still wiggling.
Good save. Could have
Rich
been a race
Swingle with the
ender
front
right
row.
there.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to save this car. You get loose like that, you get the death wobbles going on, and it ends very quick.
Yeah, they're about 24 laps into this run as well, so those tires are starting to show a little bit of sign of decay. Knight's doing a good job keeping it going right there. Up front, that leads half a second now as Nick Mills has closed in on Zach Engel.
Did you see where the 20 car entered the corner?
No, what'd he do? Is he doing the thing?
Let's go to the one of my favorite cams. That's not the right one. Hold up.
That's a pretty good cam, though.
It's a cool one, but there's a better one. If I could just, is it this one? Where is it?
Smoking Joe up here. He's pushing all the buttons. He's pushing all the buttons.
What they do to my camera, Mean Gene? Help me.
He's looking at me like I did.
There we go. There it is. That's what I wanted. Look at that.
All right, what are we looking for?
Look at where Nick Mills is entering the corner compared to Zach Engel. You see that? Running way higher on the track. We were talking about it earlier, Mean Gene, right? About using the higher lane later in the run to try and get some momentum. It looks like that's exactly what Nick Mills is doing. Let's see where he enters in the one.
Wow, he closed the gap really well. Well, and also avoids the dirty air by making those choices. Great exit speed.
Zach
Well, he's just
Engel's
living
gonna,
La Vida Loca, man.
yeah, I think Zach Engel's gonna have to put this in his memory bank for later on in the race, right? If he ends up in a similar situation with him, maybe use the outside line to protect against Nick Mills, because look at this run. He's gone from half a second to now leading the race in just a couple of laps.
There is another pit stop scheduled for fuel, even if we stay green. So this will be something for Engel to think about later if he gets involved in a shootout with Nick Mills. These two drivers are about 2 seconds ahead of David Buell. So these are the two guys that we're really focusing on at the minute as far as who could get the win, unless, of course, a caution comes out to flip the script, regrid, and see what would happen. So Nick Mills now being shown as your leader here on lap number 73. So again, let's do that math. 38, 38, and 39 is equally spreading out the pit stops. So 38 and 38 is 76. So anything after 76 or 77 puts us into the window quite easily. Or I think you really could say the window is open right now, depending on who has got the bravery to go for a huge run later on and really wear some tires out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I was gonna say, Meejin, don't count out David Buell just yet. He's running very similar lap times to the two in front of him. If he's able to find a little bit of pace here, he might be able to close back in. Don't count out Michael Sara either. He's only 4 seconds back. You know, if he's able to play this pit strategy right as well, he might be able to find his way in the battle for the win as well.
Yeah, pit's a great place to make up a second or so. And there's still the 9 of David Medina Sr. still running right about the same area as Michael Sara. Of course, he's on a different tire setup, considering he sat in there for about 18 laps. But you were right about him moving up. He's all the way up now to 20th and will pass Evan Stewart in about 2 more laps since Stewart has disappeared. So Medina powers out from being in 25th place up to probably 19th. So that's what fortitude will get you. Speaking of fortitude, there's Jackson Duvall looking to be a guy that's going to go a lap down here very soon to Nick Mills.
Right here battling for 11th.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's Swingle he's battling with.
Yeah, he's battling with Swingle for 11th. Ben Knight's right in front of them, currently in 10th. They're going around the lap car of Ricky Mandela, who still has a lot of damage. You see Duvall gets very high. I don't think that was by choice, though. Remember, we saw Nick Mills do it by choice. That didn't look like it. And it's going to let Swingle get to the inside and potentially make that position up right here. And there it is. Swingle up to 11th now in the running order. Slowly working his way back forward after missing the pits there on that first pit stop. Oh,
well, he's going to get close to that Animal House Custom Ricky Mandela. Both he and Duvall, though, do make their way around. The 97 did just pit past the 84 of Duvall, so Duvall needing to get back on pace, whereas Swingle just needs to keep that forward momentum going as he finds himself 0.6 of a second behind the 937 of Ben Knights. Ben, of course, light damage from that opening caution on lap number 1, but seems like he's fought tires as much as damage. I guess damage really can cause accelerated tire wear, though.
Yeah, we're seeing that with Garrett Austin still, right? Everybody on the track pretty much faster than him that's on the lead lap. So he's really struggling at this point. Just hoping to make it to the end of this race, I think. Well within the pit window now to make it to the end. So I would expect to see some of these guys maybe try and, if they're thinking about an aggressive undercut, to start pitting. And look at that, Chris Smorl comes down just as I say that.
And right, looks like the 97 of Swingle side by side now with Ben Knights. These guys in a drag race for the 10th position. Really good considering he missed that pit stop. I wonder how far Swingle would be up if he didn't have that issue. Here we go. Let's see. Right side's going on to the number 5. of Smorl. Let's see if he's going to take those less. Yes, he
More
does.
tires.
Yeah, you have to with this many laps remaining. I mean, 36 laps to go. Can't play games, can't be cute at this point. See what kind of undercut he has. All right, looks like Rose is going to match him, the 51, coming down as well. A lot slower entry there by the 51 than Smorl had. I would not be surprised if those two flip-flop.
Yeah, we'll see if, yeah, right now, I don't think he had the best pit in out there, right? I mean, Gina, looking at it, a little bit slower pit stop. We'll see the out is way slower. Yeah, look at that, 3 seconds slower than Smorl. So Smorl should take over that 5th spot on the pit cycle. Look who's closing in, Mean Gene.
Oh, Zach Engel.
And
Y'all
look
must
who's
have
in
forgot.
3rd. Here he
Buell
comes.
closing it up as well. Buell the fastest of those three that last lap by about a 10th or 12th 100th of a second. That almost takes us metric. Sorry, boys and girls. Mills, though, with that lead, feeling good. Mills last pit on 47. Angle on 42. And there comes Angle, going to blink first of the leaders.
Yep.
Yeah, look
Zach
at that.
Go ahead.
I was going to say Smorl is almost 2 seconds ahead of Rose back there after that pit cycle.
Yeah, definitely in front of him now by a fair amount. And Chris Smorl just ran his fastest lap of the race, I believe, there as well. Yeah, 29.78. That's his best run to this point. Best lap, 1 lap pace for him. Not the best of the race, just a touch off of that. But really, really good lap right there from Chris Smorl. So pulling away from Jerry Rose even now on the racetrack as well. Nick Mills in the pits.
So that is going to turn over the lead to David Buell. David Buell going to get him some points for leading a lap. Michael Sara in second now. Buell did pit 1 lap before Sara. Looks like he's slowing to bring it in. Will Sara keep going to get a point for leading a lap? Yes, he will. And Michael Sara going to be your new race leader. The 27 gets that point for leading a lap. Wouldn't be surprised to see him bring it on in this very next lap to match the move, the point counterpoint of the pit stop by Buell.
Oh, no!
There. Oh, Buell can't do that.
Oh, that's going to cost him a lot of time, Mean Gene. That might be enough to take him out of the race for the win.
It could. Well, let's keep an eye on him. Going to take right sides. I'm keeping an eye down there. Looks like left sides as well. Going to go on the 52. Michael Sara finally making the call. The 27 Ford bringing it down pit road for 4 freshies and a full tank of fuel. Once he comes down, that should turn the lead over to Jose Medina now. So Medina going to lead him a lap. Why not get some points as well? So good for him. You can also see the broken car of David Brenner there.
Oh yeah, not a good time for him. Speaking of fast laps, fastest lap of the race, Zach Engel that last time around, as he's right now going to be the effective race leader once everybody pits. Jose Medina cycles to the race lead for the time being.
So Zach Engel has that lead over Mills. It was about 0.8 of a second. You can see both those fellas running sub 30-second laps in their battle. Once Mills closes the gap enough to get into that draft stream, though, that distance really closes quite rapidly.
Yeah, we'll see how much they really are able to close in over time, right? So last time, right, Mean Gene, we saw Nick Mills able to do it in the long haul. We'll see if he's going to try and go for a short approach or a long approach this time on the tires, since he's a lot closer. Remember, he was, 2-3 seconds behind last time when Evan Stewart disappeared, and then Nick closed in, passed him with, maybe 10-15 laps left in the run. So doesn't have as much time this time. So really have to think about when you want to push it.
Bear in mind, there are 115 laps scheduled here today. Only one caution so far back on lap number 1. So we have watched basically 84 laps of green flag, 85 laps of green flag racing here at Las Vegas. And this is the result. We see just how important pit stops are, entry, exit, all of those things influencing your track position. And then you've got to earn it back the hard way once you get out there. Jose Medina, Tim Darby, both in the pits as now. Darby finally coming into his spot to get fuel and tires. Darby being shown in 15th spot at the moment.
Yeah, Darby, of course, like you said, in 15th. He just came down the pit like you were talking about. Right now, I'm looking at where some of these guys are cycling. It looks like, look at this, Jax Duvall, even though Zach Engel currently is in the leader since Swingle still hasn't pitted this time around, this is effectively going to be trying to get back on the lead lap. Because right now, he's the first car lap down right behind the effective race leader, Zach Engel.
Pushing hard is Jax Duvall. Last pit on lap number 88, so he does have 5 lap fresher tires than the 47. And here he goes, thinks about 3 wide, can't close the gap quite enough to Zach Engel, but that gap very, very close between the two. As you can see just how quickly the 84 can close that gap once he gets into the draft stream. Now he's down on the apron. Gonna roll a little harder, plows up the track just a little bit, makes Engel come off the throttle, and the 84 now will get his spot back ahead of the 47 of Engel. Now, if you look at Rich Swingle being the leader, he last pit on 49, so here he comes finally. Now, there was only 7 guys on the lead lap when Swingle was your leader, so that would have been very precarious for most of this bunch. Swingle finally forced to pit, eventually going to turn it over to Engel, who's coming out of 4, and we'll see exactly where we land. Should be 12 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, right now, 12 cars on the lead lap because Duvall got around Zach Engel here. You know what I'm curious to see is what's that going to do for the tire wear of the 47. Right now he's going to follow in the dirty air of the 84 because he's running the same line. How much is that going to help out Nick Mills catch him?
And Nick Mills, we've seen 2 Nick Mills recently. We've seen the Psycho we all know and love, but we've also seen a Nick Mills employ fuel strategy and long run ability. So at this point, I think it's going to call for a little bit of both. You need to have the patience to make your tires last to the end. I mean, you're still talking about 31 laps on this set of tires. But then again, he's got to get by Engel. We've seen him use the outside lane very proficiently, but Engel now aware of that move. A driver like Engel, Joe, I would expect him to start blocking. And there he is using that line to get back around Duvall, putting Duvall back 1 lap down. 10 cars now being shown on the lead lap. So once we see Nick Mills close that gap, will Engel be willing to go up high to block, deny entry to Mills? And if so, how aggressive do you think Nick Mills is going to get with it?
Yeah, right now, Jax Duvall goes back a lap down. Is he going to be aggressive to try and get back on? Yeah, exactly.
Look like
What's going to happen now with him now back in between the two leaders here? What's that going to do for this battle? I see Richard Swingle in the background there as well, Mean Gene. He's on fresh tires. Uh-oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh!
Oh, Duvall and Mills touch.
That almost was a wreck. Clears him, but made that interesting.
All right, so Duvall does give up that lap down position to Nick Mills. Duvall only has about a 1.6 second lead over Rich Swingle back there for 11th and 12th in that battle for lucky dog contention. Meanwhile, Engel has another lap driver. He's got Ricky Mandela in between he and Nick Mills, but Mills not going anywhere. Behind them, David Buell got to be kicking himself. 3.9 seconds back of Nick Mills. Buell, the unfortunate victim of a pit stop gone wrong, went too far and had to back up, and that is reflected in his 47.13 pit lap time, a full 2 seconds worse than the other drivers, even a little bit more than that. So if he could knock off that 2, he'd be 1.85 behind, and who knows, that might have been enough to get into the draft and make something happen. It's basically that gap that we see.
Yeah, conveniently, I pulled up that little pit lane time for you there in the bottom right there for you, Mean Gene. You could see how even Angle and Mills were and how far off Buell was. Pretty much the slowest of the lead lap drivers there. I think Eddie Peltz and Jerry Rose had similar times, but we saw how much time they've lost on pit road in comparison to who they were battling as well.
Yeah, speaking of, looks like, yeah, Smorls kept that 1.2 second lead over Rose, and then Peltz, he's about 2.7 seconds behind Medina.
He's chilling in 8th right now. He's having a great day. Just minding his own business, keeping the car clean, having a good time, running in 8th.
Last lap of the top 10 looks like Jose Medina, 30.53 was the quickest of those guys. So Medina doing his best to keep that lead of 3 seconds over Eddie Peltz and 11 seconds behind the 51 of Rose. So not in danger of catching him there, but Medina and Peltz engaged in a good little battle there for 7th.
Yeah, right now, yeah, hypothetical battle right here, right? Between David Medina and Eddie Peltz, pretty good. Behind them, though, like you were talking, I don't know if you mentioned it, Jay-Z Bennett, Double O Joe, just got around, looked like Garrett Austin for 9th. So those two running really good. And a little further back in 11th is Richard Swingle. He's now in between Nick Mills and Zach Angle. So here we go again.
Yeah, that lead between Angle and Mills, 0.8 of a second, almost 0.9. Last lap we saw about 14/100ths of a second faster was Zach Angle than Mills. So if he can keep this pace for the next 12 laps, Zach Angle would be in good shape. 12 laps to go here at the Plus EV Crowns 160 live on the Vortex Racing Network. Mean Gene Money alongside Smokin' Joe and Johnny Replay, bringing you all the action. Johnny, how we doing over there, man? We have not abused your fingers this time. We did a quick one, and then we've kind of had a good ride around. What are you noticing out there that we might not be looking at?
Oh, I'm just looking at these cars, just seeing how badly damaged some of these guys are. Jake Johnson, Ricky Mandela.
You want to do a damage report on some of these boys here?
Let me pull it up. So there's Ricky Mandela. He's a soldier. He's toughing it out there, you know. Gotta get those laps in, even with how bad that front bumper is. Then there's Jake Johnson, and the only thing that you can know that tells them apart is the color of the car, because that looks like almost identical damage.
Ooh.
I think Duval has some damage too on the left front.
He gave himself some right there, didn't
he? Yeah. And I think that's about it. We can go through everybody else. Oh,
well, good timing right there.
That fixed itself. It's like crinkle, but yeah.
That right front, though, is definitely not shaped in the right way. And you can see it actually here if we come back up to the main screen. Garrett Austin way off the pace right now. So good catch there. Johnny, you caught that at the right time.
Right. Yeah, looking through everybody else has kind of clean cars. Not seeing any. Those, I think Mandela and Johnson have the worst damage.
Of course, the no caution since that first lap pretty much has sealed their fate for the race as well. Couple battles.
Yeah, it's amazing how one more could have got it done, right? One more caution could have let me fix that car.
Couple battles are brewing. Nick Mills has been a little bit faster last couple laps than Zach Angle. And speaking of guys a little bit faster, Chris Smorl starting to lose some ground to Jerry Rose behind. So 2 battles that are potentially brewing here with the laps winding down.
Meanwhile, you can see both of the fish speed car, Jaden Porter coming into the pits now was running 18th. You can see Garrett Austin, the Golden Octopus driver, coming in as well. He was having major difficulties with that number 34/87. I'm telling John Beverly on you car, and gonna take tires and try to at least salvage a good day. I bet he's looking at the lap counter thinking, I'd rather not do any more damage, and it's
Yeah.
perfectly acceptable to come in and take more tires. Oh, he's in there. Austin living in there, though. He's already 30 seconds over.
Yeah, he's going to lose a lot of spots if he's not able to go back out there. He would fall all the way back to 17th here on my ticker is what I'm seeing.
No bueno. Meanwhile, 0.8 of a second, Zach Engel once again 1/10 of a second faster than Nick Mills. So
let's go back to your favorite camera again.
Oh, he's peaking. Oh, and he is. Look at that. He's ripping that rail. Going to get around the 13 of Tim Darby right there. Darby currently in 14th spot, but does find himself 3 laps down after getting passed by Zach Engel. So, yeah, look at that. He has committed. Nick Mills now running that top line 0.2 of a second faster than Zach Engel that last lap. This is something that Engel needs to monitor. Only 0.5 a second faster is the Engel, and there is no cars separating the Chevy and the Ford. You got Rich Swingle coming into the picture. That's that 10th place car ahead of Engel. But other than that, this is basically looking down the barrel of the hood.
Yeah, right here. Look at this. That high line really starting to do some wonders. Is Zach Engel going to change it up? Last time, remember, Nick Mills made it work to get around him. 3 to go. I think you got to move up and try and block him.
Yeah, Engel has to respond. He saw Mills do this and pass him late in that second fuel run. Look at the closing speed. Mills taking a peek upside. No lap cars to slow the momentum. Engel committed to the apron. Mills to the high side, makes the apex, acceleration, and he comes down. No block attempt by Zach Engel. Watches Mills go by on the outside with 2 laps to go. Now Mills again to the top. Look at the exit speed.
He's going to clear him here off turn 2. It's done. He's got the lead.
Wow, what a move there by Nick Mills to take over the lead with just 1 1/4 laps to go, bringing it out of turn 4. Nick Mills passing the start-finish line. Gonna take the white flag here at the Plus EV Crowns 160. Nick Mills started way back in 23rd and now slowly pulling away 4/10, almost 5/10 of a second faster than Engel that last lap. Mills showing just how fast that outside lane could be. Feels confident, coasting down in that second lane. The number 24 of Nick Mills picked up his second win of the season here at the Plus EV Crowns 160. Nick Mills wins Las Vegas.
What a run for Nick Mills here again today. Able to get it done. This time, man, both these races that he's won, remember he did it on fuel strategy earlier. This time it was all about saving the tires, being good on a long run. And, man, 2 races he's won this season, and he's done it both on 1.5 miles. So Nick's got something figured out with the fuel and the tires here on these 1.5 miles to start season 15.
Yes, he did. Hey, Johnny, can you find where Rose passed Smorrell? Looks like he also made a late race pass there to go up into 5th. While Johnny is on the spot looking for those, we can talk about Nick Mills' second win of the year. We knew without Jason Landry there would be a gap for a champion, and why not have multiple-time champion Nick Mills? He's got 2 titles under this belt. Why not start shooting for a third? Nick Mills with the win. Zach Engel gonna get second. David Buell joining them up on that podium. Great run by the number 52 Toyota. Fourth place today, Michael Sara. Great run by the 7 Motorsports driver. Jerry Rose going to come home in fifth. Chris Smorrell, sixth. Jose Medina holding on for seventh. Eddie Peltz, Eddie P with a top 10, bringing it home in eighth. Double O Joe going to be ninth. And Richard Swingle rounding out the top 10 of drivers here today. Johnny, any luck on that?
Got it. I got it.
Oh, we got it, Mean Gene.
Yeah, I'm curious. Well, we got to watch the leaders going for the pass. All right, so
this
Rose,
is turn one.
Yeah.
Right, neck and neck, pretty much going in. Rose going back down, and Ricky Mandela pretty much helped him out too, because now Small is stuck behind Mandela.
Look at that pinch. What a jerk.
And there, right there, is where he takes both.
Well, so Smorrell showing patience right there, not getting involved.
Patience.
Right.
Jerry
Battle
Rose
for fifth.
sending money to Ricky Mandela through Venmo.
There
Thanks
you
for the
go.
help.
And that was your battle for fifth there. What lap is that? Was there like 2 to go, 3 to go?
That is
Survey says.
2 to go.
2 to go. Ah, interesting. All right, so let's go back to the tree. Let's go, or the final finishes there. Go back to 11th. Duval holds on for 11th. Ben Knight's going to finish 12th. Todd Dunn, 13th. Tim Darby, 14th. Jake Johnson and Ricky Mandela, 15 and 16. Both those guys being shown 5 laps down. Garrett Austin, such a good start for Garrett, and turned rough after that front right went into the wall. David Medina, this guy gets a trophy for fortitude. Came back, battle past all those other broken drivers. And there it is. Look at that. If he would have come back 1 lap later, he would have lost at Porter, but instead he timed it just right, Joe.
Yeah, able to get 18th out of it over Jaden Porter, who gets 19th. And then you have all of your DNFs from today's race. Evan Storton, 20th. After leading all of the beginning part of that race, disconnects. Tough break for him, ends up 20th, 56 down. Ryan Newman, we saw the trouble he was having early on with his connection as well. He ended up out of the race permanently as well due to it, ends up 21st. Mark Dumont didn't catch what happened to him, but something happened early on to him. Took him out of the race, ends up in 22nd. And then 23rd, Vulpes, 24th, Fox, 25th, Brenner, and 26th, Chris Smith. Chris Smith actually didn't grid up, but 23rd through 25th, all out on that first lap wreck. So all of them not able to get back going after the lap 1 incident. And that was the field for today's race.
So brutal day for some and elation for others as they get some of their best finishes of the year. Let's go to the way too early playoff standings. You can see Nick Mills is going to jump ahead of Joe Vulpes, has the 8-point lead after today's results at Las Vegas. Evan Stewart as well, losing a position. Duval jumps up 1, as does Jake Johnson into the top 5. David Medina up 3. Jose Medina up 6. David Buell, biggest mover, up 8. David Owens not making the start today, gonna fall down into 9th. He is your highest position of drivers that have missed 1 race. Michael Sara jumps up 7 into 10th. Ricky Mandela up 1 spot. Todd Dunn into the playoff picture, now takes over the 12th position. 3 points behind him, Jerry Rose jumps up 7 spots with his first top 5. And then Richard Modric with the drop to 8 spots down to 14th, not making today's start. David Brenner, Kyle Lynott also falling, as does Eric Gambrell. Lynott, Gambrell not making the drive, and Brenner, of course, caught up in that incident in lap 1. JZ Bennett going to move up a spot here, 7 spots into 18th. Tim Darby moving up. Malarkey dropping, as is Tommy Fox. And look at Zach Engel. Comes home in second. Only his second start. Is that right? Where starts? Yeah, Zach Engel's second start. So, Joe, if we peek at drivers that don't have the 4 starts, David Owens with 3 standing out, Richard Modric also close enough to the playoff picture to talk about, I think, as is Lynott and Gambrell and Bennett. So,
And Malarkey.
yeah, and Malarkey as well.
Points are they're still too tight right now to really start.
Too early. It's way too early.
Way too early to start really saying who's in and who's out of really any sort of battles. Right now, the only guys that are going to be effectively out are going to be the guys that can't make enough starts, right, Mean Gene? Because if you can't make the starts, then you ain't making the playoffs. So
all right,
right
so there's 12 races in the regular season, so that means 9 starts then.
Yeah, it should be 75%. Should be 9 starts.
So this is race 4. So anybody who hasn't made a start is out. Anybody with 1 start, if they run every race, would be fine.
Yeah, they would be. So pretty much everybody still has hope. Because you know what you're forgetting about, Mean Gene, right? You're forgetting about the winning in.
Winning you're in, but you gotta have the 9.
Gotta have the 9 starts.
Gotta have the 9
That's
starts.
your magic number.
Yep. So Joey Styres could come back, run every race, and qualify.
Correct. There's guys down there. You look at your 1 start guys. I know I don't have them on this graphic.
No, but
it's not on here because I want Mean Gene to be able to read it, not for any other reason. So if we come and take a look right at the guys with 1 start down here, how many of these guys?
Garrett Austin, Joey Styres.
Yep.
Chris Morrill with 2 starts down there at the bottom. Ferdy Annie with 2. Kevin Kyle with 2.
Yep. Buddy Sully, we know he is only running part-time, so I don't think he'll be able to make enough starts. Ryan Newman just made his first start, but I think he said he's part-time as well. So looking at these guys down here, Juan Delgado, he's part-time. Pfeiffer's part-time. Yeah, pretty much everybody else down here is part-time. So it's going to be tough for them to try and make it happen, but I'm looking at somebody like, Richard Swingle, Chris Morrill. They're right here on the graphic, right, just at the bottom of it. Chris Morrill, we've seen him win in Bonfire Premier Cup before. All you got to do is make the starts, get the dub. And we've seen Richard Swingle win on Tuesdays before in a spot where it's not a win and you're in, but if he could do it here on Sundays and keep making the starts, then that win would get him in over here. So, there's a lot of guys right now. The winning in just makes things so exciting, I feel like, sometimes in the league setting. Really makes it interesting because you can really never count anybody out until they don't have enough starts.
No, exactly. And especially week number 12, the last race of the regular season when we take it to Daytona, going to be very, very fascinating on the super speedway to see who is on that cut line. And, with so many drivers that are so effective there. Next week, the boys will be at Darlington. Completely different type of racing than what we just saw here at Las Vegas. 1 and 2 at Darlington. So much fun to see just how low people are willing to whip that car into the turn. Cannot wait until next week when you'll see the boys at Darlington. But there's plenty of racing coming at you live all week long right here on the Vortex Racing Network. Best way to keep track, you're gonna need to be subscribed. So if you're watching this broadcast, that means you like what you saw. Go ahead, make sure you are subscribed to the Vortex Racing Network. It's that little button down there on the bottom to the left. Make sure you click it, be subscribed, and share and like all the videos that you see. And hey, we got more than just live videos going. Now we're building the data library of track guides. Already have the next gen fixed of Nashville down there. Take a peek, get a jump start on the official sessions right after that, I believe Michigan is going to be the next video that's going to drop. So those videos being provided by the Vortex Racing Network in a partnership with Fish Speed Brakes. Going to want to keep an eye on that to make sure you get the edge that you need moving forward. Tomorrow night, you're going to see a live doubleheader right here on the Vortex Racing Network. The DDI ARCA Series brought to you, broadcast by Alex Hillman, the Hilltop Bullet, back-to-back with the Monday Night Mayhem Series. You're going to have me and Zach Penzarella bringing you that action live back-to-back. Then Tuesdays of Dennis Bucket, Big Trucking Tuesday, playoffs time. That's right, playoffs. Talking about playoffs. Going to want to see that as all of those points have reset. That huge regular season point advantage by Joe Volpus. It is all even across the board. Mr. I barely snuck into the playoffs, AJ Benish, 3-time champion, 2-time defending. That's right. He's on equal ground and used to the new track setups. Let's see what that number 5 Summer Shanty can do against Volpus and David Owens as the big guns this season. Wednesday night, MRL DDI Moonlight Truck Series. This is an all-star league bringing the best drivers from all 4 series that we cover all together for some amazing racing action. Thursday night, Quantum Contender Series. That's going to be a next-gen series covered by Kevin Kyle and Kevin Kyle. You're going to want to check that out live here starting soon on Thursdays. And then you just watched our Premier Cup Series Sunday Bonfire League, and we saw Nick Mills pick up his 2nd win here today. What'll happen next week at Darlington? Only one way to find out, and that is tune in and watch. That's going to wrap us up from Las Vegas, ladies and gentlemen. Before we head out, Joe, final thoughts.
Ooh, boy. Well, we gambled, and some rolled the dice and won some money, and some were arguing with the guys at the tables. I think I saw Mean Gene Money get in the middle of there and try and break up some fights, especially at the blackjack table here tonight. Some great racing though. Once again, after that first lap, everybody went caution free, which really really good for this series. It's been a long time since we've seen caution-free races or near caution-free races over here. So props to everybody for keeping it together there, making 110 lap run to the end of the race without a caution. So we'll see if that carries over to next week at Darlington or not.
Oh, yeah. Well, the other thing I think we could attribute to that is the number of drivers. 28 drivers here today, and 28, 26, 28, that seems to be the sweet spot of caution-free racing. Anything more than that gets a little bit dicey. Anything less than that gets a little bit sleepy. So love to see that 28 drivers there today. Well, how about you, Johnny Replay? Any thoughts before we leave Vegas here?
Oh, yeah, this has been probably the most interesting race because, yeah, we went caution-free, but that first caution takes out a lot of heavy hitters, and then we see guys just disconnecting throughout the race, too, and it just throws everything in shambles. So a really great race today.
Love it. Lots of curveballs here in Las Vegas. The odds, always playing the odds. May the odds forever be in your favor. Great race today. Hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Going to give a big shout out to our sponsors, of course. Thank you, Paul Ferdiani, for your sponsorship of the Plus EV Crowns 160. You can see right there, get them mediocre beanies. You want to reach out to Paul Ferdiani on Discord. And remember, the new hour caps coming soon as well. Plus EV Crowns, thank you for your sponsorship. Big love to Tim Darby. Only needed you once today, my friend. But Tim Darby, of course, bringing us all the cautions all year long. This one's just for you, pal. There you go. I only got to do it once, so we'll do an extra one. So thank you to Mr. Darby for the Demolition Darby support. And, of course, thank you, Kyle Lynott, for the 988 Poll Award. All season long, we will be recognizing the winners of the Poll Award by giving them the 988 Award. So thank you, Kyle, for your support there as well. Thank you to the league admins for making this possible. Season number 15. Amazing to see how this league has continued to progress. The founder, Dennis Bucket, looking down with a big smile on his face as he sees just how healthy this community is that he helped create. On behalf of myself, Mean Gene Money, Smoke and Joe, Johnny Replay, been our pleasure to bring you this broadcast. Go enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Put Joey Logano in your fantasy lineup, and as always, bottoms up and hammer down.